I spilled
At
acid
least,
in
at
my
least.
car.
Yeah, okay. What? Is this what you talked about before, where it got under the floor mat?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
How bad is it?
when you have a pool, occasionally you need to adjust the pH.
Mhm.
So there's chemicals that you'll put in the pool to either increase the pH or decrease the pH. And one of those chemicals can be muriatic acid. And so we happened to have some muriatic acid kicking around here at the office. And the reason that we had a jug of it was, do you remember that weird like shmoo that was all over the floor in some parts of the lab warehouse? Dan, did you see the shmoo?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you guys ever figure out what we thought that was from? Like it was like it was thrown off of some kind of machine or something like that. Do you remember?
Not exactly. I do remember that there was a floor polishing step and some shmoo removal step and a whole bunch of sealing steps and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think Jamie had a theory. He thought it was something to do with some kind of machine that was in that space and just like flung out glue or like some kind of
like pre-existing.
It was from the previous, not even the previous tenants, but the ones before that was our theory about it. Anyway, they had the idea that maybe they could try putting acid on it to try to make it a little bit easier to get up. It did absolutely nothing, so they just had this jug of acid. And I was like, oh, I need acid. Should I really be transporting acid in my car? That just seems like it's got over 10,000 kilometers on it, but it still didn't have a single scratch.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing, like pristine. And I was like, do I really want... No, you know what? No, I'm not going to live my life like that. I'm not going to be like, oh, you know, my car is too nice to like carry a bottle of acid or whatever. Okay. So the bottle of acid is in a bag just to make sure that just in case it, spills or whatever, it spills into the bag instead of, spilling out onto, wherever it happens to be. But that bag is open because we opened the acid and we were using it at some point. And I noted as I was making my way over to my car that the bag was open and there was like kind of a little bit of like wetness or something. And I was like, oh, okay, but that's fine because I'll just put it in the back where it will sit up without falling over, and everything will be fine. As I was pulling into my driveway, I was thinking, man, yeah, it's kind of crazy that given the state of my Civic, like, do you remember riding around with me in that car?
Yeah.
Back when we first met.
Yeah, often.
Yeah. It was really well kept, hey?
Oh, yeah.
Not full of garbage at all.
No.
Yeah. So I was kind of marveling at, how people kind of change, how you can go from having the actual trash mobile that is a rolling dumpster.
I got so desensitized to it that I had a conversation with Linus at some point in time where he was just like, if it's in the like passenger seat, it's just like not important. And I was like, okay. And I just stopped moving stuff out of the way and I'll just sit on it. It's like an actual conversation, an actual resolution that we had.
So as I'm pulling into my driveway thinking like, yeah, man, I even empty out my car when I arrive home now. Every time I pull out everything except a water bottle, my Powerball, like a pen, some like tissues, like I have like a loadout and I'm pulling into my driveway and I'm going, yeah, it's like kind of and I went, wait a minute. I had told myself when I got into the car, go easy on the accelerator. There's muriatic acid in the back seat. So I pull in, I get out, I open up the rear driver's side door. It is literally smoking. The floor mats are smoking. Fortunately, not that much spilled. And the way that it spilled, I have like all-weather floor mats, and it spilled onto them and then kind of like surface tensioned over. So it's mostly under. But there's an area about this big where all the like carpet fuzz is completely, I don't know how to describe it. It's not melted. It's not burned. It's eaten.
Okay.
It's completely eaten away.
Dissolved?
It looks absolutely disgusting. Fortunately, it was like really late. Fortunately, I kept my wits about me, and instead of putting on soap and water, I ran and got baking soda and like
hucked
it on it, and it like There was a lot. It was pretty bad. But
Is
anyway,
it covered by the floor mat?
I wish it was completely covered. It's like
Is there
so
like
close.
a little bit?
It's actually.
Is there anything you could do about it?
It's actually okay.
Could you arts and crafts repair this?
Oh man, no, I'll show it to you after the show.
Arts and crafts
Yeah.
repair on
You're gonna see it. You're gonna be like, yeah, that was a dumb question. Like,
Okay.
yeah, it's really
All
bad. When it rains, it pours, you know? I spilled acid in my car. It's great. I dropped my phone in my pool. So these are obviously champagne
what
problems.
What can happen next?
These are the most champagne problems that you can possibly have, but
Oh.
it doesn't change the fact that I spilled acid in my car and I dropped my phone in the pool. Well, I dropped myself in the pool. I actually have it on the surveillance footage too. So,
Do you have your
Dan.
realization moment on the surveillance?
Ooh.
Because if so, that might be a good one. You said you're going to make a video for it. That might
Yeah.
actually be a good thing to include in there.
I don't know if I do. I might have been inside by that point. I'll have to check. But either way, I definitely have the moment when the AirPod. Oh, the good news is the AirPods survived. Great. So I still have my AirPods Pros, and all it cost me was a Galaxy Z Fold 3. Good trade. Good trade. I should play Monopoly. I'd be really good at that game.
Yeah.
Like here, I've got Boardwalk. Can I trade it to you for Baltic? Want to give me a railroad? Realistically, my expectation is that the only job this phone has is to make me feel like it's worth the effort of switching all of my stuff over from my Fold 3. Well, it doesn't even have that job anymore because my phone is dead. Do you want to know how?
Broken glass?
No.
It'd be pretty funny if it was.
No, it's not, unfortunately.
Okay. No. How?
My pool has claimed its first victim.
Did you jump in or did you drop it?
I was running around. I was getting...
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I was running around. Okay, and it's going to be even dumber than you think. It's way worse than you think, I promise you. I was running around getting ready for a pool party. And so I'm, like grabbing hoses and vacuuming the bottom, and just skimming, and like doing all that stupid stuff. As I'm like walking, my arm moves and knocks my AirPods out of that little pocket, the little one right here.
Yeah.
Like it was not in all the way, and I kind of went, but, and it just fell down, and one of my earphones went into the water, and I went, oh crap. It was in the shallow end, so I was like, okay, I can probably I probably don't have to get all the way in. I can get this, and I'll just take my shirt off after. So I laid down on the pool deck, and I like blew hard out of my nose so that water wouldn't go up my nose, and I just like laid on the side and tried to reach it. Well, I didn't get it. It moved obviously because you're like fishing around in the water. So I'm like, okay, screw it. And I just go in, I grab it, I jump out. Obviously it doesn't work, so I put it out in the sun and like leave it there for now. And that's it. That's the end of the story. I never took my phone out of my pocket in my soggy pants that I didn't change because I was running around getting ready for the party. So I didn't realize that it had been sitting there in a soggy pocket on a hot day for probably a couple of hours. And I now speak from personal experience. If there's anything that would be worse than having your phone submerged in water, it would be having your phone in a super high humidity environment right after it got submerged in water. When I took it out of my pocket, the camera lens was fogged. Oh. Which is never a good sign.
Yeah, that's not good.
So I'm kind of feeling like maybe it's a video. Just like, can I the good news is I backed up.
Can I save this phone?
Yeah, I backed up everything like 3 weeks before it happened.
Nice.
So I lost like a couple pictures. There were no significant family moments or anything like that.
Someone said chlorine water is probably the killer. So is yours salt and chlorine?
Well, it's salt chlorination. So it's like they put salt in, and then there's some... This is one of those things where enough people have asked me about it that I really need to just spend 45 minutes, read the Wikipedia on salt chlorination, and be like, there's a chlorination cell, and it's something electricity something. But basically, it converts some kind of salt that you dump into it into chlorine, and it's supposed to be a little bit less like chlorine smelly and chlorine feely. But yeah, that's the kind. So yeah, it's still chlorine. It's still producing chlorine, but it's doing it constantly instead of you just like dumping chlorine into
No
it.
pucks.
No pucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the chlorine probably didn't help. Now, it does turn on. I can see a Samsung logo. But what I suspect is that the battery is dead because it was powered on the whole time that it was sitting there soggy. So it's probably a power connection that's corroded. Fortunately, Dan, thank you, Dan. Very helpful. Fortunately, Dan is pretty good with that kind of stuff, and Luke has already given me the go-ahead to have Dan help me with that project. So if we just get like a replacement screen, replacement battery, I don't know, maybe iFixit has like I legitimately don't know. They might have like a Fold 3 refurbished kit or like screen replacement kit or something like that, and we can open it up, have a look at it, put it back together and see if I can get a few things off of it. It's the kind of thing that I'm not going to bother to, send to a data recovery company or anything like that. It's not, it's not worth it. That's like, they want like $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, depending on the complexity of the issue.
Can we recover this at home is fun.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. It's content.
Like
it's
home
content.
methods. Yeah.
It's content. Yeah. So we'll have some
Remember
fun with
baking your Xboxes? That worked.
I mean,
you can do some stuff at home.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a very temporary fix, sir.
Hey, maybe someone just needs to back it up. Can I turn it on for a while?
You know what? This is a really good point. Androids only have this problem. iPhone backs up instantly. It's not quite that simple, but something that did happen is I hadn't opened the Google Photos app since the last time I booted the phone. And so, yeah, even though I have cloud backup configured, it didn't back up those few weeks. So I don't even have the lower quality version that would be in Google Photos.
Doesn't back up out of camera roll?
So I don't have a Pixel.
Oh.
I'm on Samsung. So I typically just use Samsung's Gallery app because I don't care. Well, it turns out I should know and care.
Now you do care.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I'll just use Photos from now on. Especially because I use my work account as my primary account because I own the domain, so I don't have any concerns about my work account going away anytime soon. So I have, because of all of our Google Workspaces accounts and how all the storage is pooled, I have like 600 terabytes or 650 terabytes of total storage available. So I could never take enough pictures from now until the end of my life to fill up all of it.
That's pretty funny.
Am I supposed to use that for that? Probably not, right?
Nah.
Yeah, probably not. Okay.
Who cares?
Well, that never happened.
Maybe it does. I bet you've used one of those photos for work at some point.
Oh, no, that's definitely a thing.
Then it's fine.
That's 100% a thing.
I think it's fine.
I take lots of pictures for work.